Okay, so regarding how you buy and make payment in Alibaba. Okay, you if you have used all those websites like Shopee, Lazada, Q0010, or AliExpress, you notice that after you buy something, you can add to cart and then make your payment, and then the goods will be delivered to you. It's not like that in Alibaba. In Alibaba, you look for the things, they always have a price range. Let's say here they tell you how many ton. Okay, minimum order 10 ton. Okay, they just talk about rebar. They have so much. Okay, so if you click inside here, okay, the finding is there's a range, so you don't know how much to pay, and then you also don't know what size. You see, they got different sizes, man. So there's no way you can make payment. It's not a payment site, but they do have this thing where you say get latest price. So when you click, okay, they tell you how you ask, they ask you how much you want, how many tons you want. You want 10 ton, 2 ton. Then what you type your requirement here. What's the diameter you want? Whatever story you want to tell, all sorts of requirements you want. Okay, whether you want it to be zinc coated or not, or what type of steel you want. Okay, or if you are buying other things, then you have to specify what's the size, dimension, color, all sorts of things you have to tell them. Then when you click, this message will be sent to this person. Okay, then it say if you tick here, it say recommend matching suppliers. Oh, sorry, you probably cannot see. I have to make it bigger. This is very funny. There's a delay when I click. Okay, so there's a delay in my computer response, so I overshot. So let's say if you ask for the latest price list, it's just a detail. You type any detail you want, some important requirement like whatever they have. Normally, you just follow the unit here. You don't need to change here. Then you will send to them. Okay. The other thing you may want to notice is here lah. Say I agree to share my business card to the supplier. There will have your name, your telephone number. I don't have fax phone number. That's my name lah. My email address and the telephone number. And then if you tick this, then they will recommend matching suppliers if the supplier doesn't contact me on the message center within 24 hours. So if you don't have, then other supplier will come. But even you don't do anything, the gold, somehow some special privilege, let's say gold supplier, they also get the leads from Alibaba. They also send you the quotation. If you click this, you get a lot, so many quotations. They will, a lot of people will send you. But it's okay lah. You don't need to reply. You won't. They won't feel offended if you don't reply them. Probably because they are running a business. Every time people will make queries, so you don't need to actually have to reply lah. If you find the quotation is not good, or you already have a supplier, you don't care. Okay. Then 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 they'll tell you what is the price, okay, based on the size, your specs, okay. So you can roughly from here you can tell what are the size you can get. So you don't buy direct, you make you discuss with them, okay, and then if you go for all these are some of the items. Let's say you go to this knowledge here, okay, there's this trade assurance. So when you buy from, let's say, Alibaba, you have to consider how you pay them, and you also worry that if you pay them, then they don't deliver to you, then how? You can't fly to China to bang the table. Maybe you can, but not now lah. After the COVID-19, you maybe can fly over and bang table, but I doubt you'll be of any good. So Alibaba has this thing called trade assurance. Okay, so this trade assurance means when you make the payment, Alibaba will keep the money for you until the transaction is over. So Alibaba will release the payment, so you are safe. If they don't deliver, then they will refund you. Alibaba will refund you the payment. So this is very safe. If you are dealing with a supplier that you are not sure or you're not confident, then you use trade assurance. Okay, but trade assurance and a private liaison with the company is a little bit different. Okay, let's say from my understanding, because I'm not very sure with the China policy, is that when you use the Alibaba trade assurance, the vendor must deliver the goods to an Alibaba export center, some place where Alibaba export out. So they can be assured that, okay, this thing is being exported out. Okay, and then there's no argument that the vendor say, hey, I exported, and then you receive, but then you don't pay. So they got this argument. So there's a number of these qualified export company will receive the goods. So I understand that there is such thing called something like Singapore GST. If the vendor export out through this qualified exporter, they can claim GST. That means they can claim some money like 17%. So it is cheaper for them. They can claim back the money. So that will be, of course, not much use because they claim back, then they still got to pay back the government GST. So I'm not very sure how the China GST work as compared to Singapore. In Singapore, when you export, then the buyer can claim GST. Okay, or you don't need to charge GST. You can less the GST amount. So when you export, you zero GST. So in China, when they export, they probably can claim back the GST. So if you don't go through the export, then they cannot claim the GST back. So I think there's some disadvantage if they don't go through the export. So, but if you go through the Alibaba, the trade assurance, and then you go through the export channel that's approved, then you must make the payment through Alibaba trade assurance. Like here, they have payment. You have a pay by using, okay, trade assurance payment platform. You can do a domestic wire transfer, international wire transfer. Okay, let's say you make a payment. Okay, how you make a payment? You can use your credit card. Okay, most credit card will work. Debit card will also work, but you must have money inside your debit card. Okay, and the problem here is US dollar. It's not a renminbi. So China has this very strange regulation. Okay, in China, when they want to export, it has to be in US dollar. Probably this will change because of all the trade problem with US, and they are not going to use the US dollar. They probably in future you may have the option to choose payment in renminbi, so they don't need to use the US dollar. But right now, all the export is in US dollar. Okay, so you can do an online payment, but this one is only for probably China bank only, or some I have not used this online payment. And then you can do a wire transfer. This one is very simple. You go to a bank, then you do a transfer. But bank has a charge. Okay, they charge you $20 for commission plus or certain percentage, whichever is higher. So the bigger the amount, the more commission you have to pay. Second thing is they pay for wire charge. That means every time they send a telegram, that's why they call TT, telegraphic transfer. They send by telegram. It's not the telegram app that you install. It is the ancient telegram. But of course now they use new medium like sending through the internet, whatever. But they still call TT, telegraphic transfer. Okay, so they charge you another $20. Of course, if you have a lot of money in the bank, let's say like Maybank, if you are a premium customer, you pay only $10. But plus a commission minimum $20, you pay $30. So that's for wire transfer. Okay, and before you do that, you have to check what is the money, what's the transfer account that you need. Okay, you don't transfer to the vendor directly. You transfer to trade Alibaba, this trade insurance. Okay, they will have something there you pick all the information will tell you, or you pay by Western Union. This Western Union also has a very strange policy. Okay, Western Union will only pay US dollar to China business and companies. They will use US dollar. If you want to pay to a person, then you cannot pay US dollar to a personal account. You can only pay US dollar to a business account. So for personal account, you can only pay by renminbi. So you cannot pay a business account with renminbi. That's the confusion. Every time you talk to the person, the vendor, they quote you in US dollar. Then if you ask them to quote in renminbi, then you get into trouble already, because you cannot use Western Union to send to them. Western Union cannot send also. Somehow they have this regulation. They will not send to a personal account using US dollar or a renminbi currency to a business. So there's this restriction. Maybe in future it will be changed. I'm not sure. Okay. So wire transfer will also have this problem, the same as Western Union. Even you go to a China bank in Singapore, one of the branch in China bank branch, and you send to transfer renminbi, they also tell you cannot. It's very funny. I don't know how come they have this type of policy, because I'm not the prime minister there. Next time, if I'm the prime minister, still have chance. 93-year-old still can be prime minister. So it's still okay. And then there's this thing, pay later. Wow, what a good deal. You don't need to pay, you pay later. This pay later, I was wondering what is it. So when I searched, Grab also have this feature called pay later. But it's definitely not Grab, because Grab is green color. Yes, this one is a blue color. And Grab only works local in Singapore only. Yeah? You only can pay later in Singapore. And this Grab pay later is actually a credit card. You use already, then they will bill you at the every month, monthly, they bill monthly, and then you just pay a lump sum. So it's like a credit card, not a debit card. Okay, but what is pay later? So I searched again, I found this thing. I believe it could be this one. I'm not sure what is the pay later. This China bank has this feature called pay later, which is some form of a credit card, something like that. So you can activate it, but you don't have this bank account, so you can't do. Maybe if you have this account, I don't know whether if you have it in Singapore, you know whether can or cannot. So I haven't tried. Next time if anybody try this, then okay, let us know. So it looks like for all the things, credit card, wire transfer, and Western Union are the best, the three options that you can use. Okay, so now you got to decide which one to use. Normally in credit card, they'll charge you extra. If you want to pay by credit card, they have an extra charge. Okay, maybe if you correspond with the vendor, they tell you add 5%. Not maybe less, but some vendor will accept PayPal, but they say you add 5%, then they will accept PayPal. So if it's a small amount, I'll just give them the 5%. It's okay. You give them 5%. Let's say you buy a product that is say $500. So $500, 5% is $25. Okay, $25. You go wire transfer, you pay $30. If you have a special privilege account, otherwise you pay $40. You go Western Union, you pay $20. But you got to go down to the Western Union branch. And for wire transfer, there's another problem here is there's different charges in wire transfer, like who pay? There's this transfer charge, either you pay, the supplier pay, or we divide. I pay my part, the supplier pay his part. So you have to talk properly with the supplier. Okay, who pay what? Because there's a three option that I pay all, I pay my side, he pay his side, or he pay everything. So if he pay everything, then it's cheaper for you. So if you thought, it's cheaper option, you can think he pay everything. Then he will call you out, your payment is short, $20. Then you sell, are you going to transfer another $20 and pay a wire transfer again? Pay a $30 or $40 wire transfer charge just to transfer the $20? So problem. So you have to talk to them. The recipient will have two charges. First, there will be a transaction fee. Somehow, like every time when you receive a wire transfer from overseas, they charge you $10. Let's say in Singapore, I can't remember how much already. If somebody from US send a wire transfer to your account, the bank will charge you, the recipient. So this charge normally the vendor will know because they're receiving this charge all the time. And there's this conversion fee from US dollar to renminbi. That conversion fee they will have to absorb now. But most of the vendors have two accounts, one US account, one renminbi account. So when they receive the US dollar, it will be exactly US dollar. Otherwise, they will have problem with the renminbi. So this one not a problem, but there's a TT charge that they pay. So this one is okay. Sometimes they say, okay, I pay that part, maybe a small amount, $10, they okay to absorb. Then there's so you have to query, you have to check with them. Otherwise, they receive, instead of 500, they receive 490. They call, hey, where's $10 short? Then you are in trouble already. If it's inside, okay, $10, never mind, let you go. Otherwise, you got into some problem. So you have to discuss this. Okay. So normally for this wire transfer, sometimes I just stick, I pay all. Then they cannot query, you won't question. So at one point, I just I pay my share. Then he say, then he got a charge. Then he also blah. Then he asked, how come there's a shortage? Because what they do is the bank will just deduct the charge and then credit only 490. So he say if you credit 500 and then you deduct 10, he okay. But the problem, the bank credit 490 instead of two transactions. One credit 500, then debit $10. They don't. The bank just credit 490. So you see, there's a shortage. So then you create some confusion here. Of course, the experienced ones, they will know what to do. They will tell you, or maybe inside the invoice, you got to read carefully. So you have to clarify all this. Otherwise, don't just because of $10, you pay another $40. Okay, for small amount, I normally use credit card. So it's safer. Sometimes credit card you can dispute. You try, if you don't deliver, you dispute, say, hey, all this problem. Okay, but there is a transaction fee. This fee, it depends on the amount. Okay, and then you must understand, credit card, the US dollar conversion rate is very high. When you use Sing dollar when you pay them in US dollar, your credit card is in Sing dollar. The credit card company will charge you in Sing dollar, but they will convert in US dollar, and it's normally very high. So you may end up paying more than the wire transfer of Western Union. So normally, like below 500, I will just use Western Union. I see the 5% are not worth it, then I use Western Union. Okay, but for vendors that I know, then I won't use this one. I won't use the trade assurance. Okay, so you will notice that over here, there's one thing that's missing is Alipay. See, Alibaba created this thing called Alipay, but cannot use here. Alipay is local, is for local, but this Alibaba website is for foreign companies buying China goods. So you can't use Alipay because a lot of people don't have Alipay. So if you want Alipay, then you must install the Alipay app. Okay, but later we show you about Alipay. Okay, so the payment method. Okay, we have talked about the payment using the payment platform. Then you look this domestic wire transfer. Of course, is the bank, the local bank. So you are unlikely to have this capability unless you can open a China bank. Okay, and furthermore, if you want to open a China bank account, then you need a China passport or maybe some business in China. It's not quite straightforward. They don't normally give you a China account. You can open a China bank account in Singapore, in a Singapore branch, but that's a Singapore branch. You cannot transact. It's quite useless. They are actually separate. Okay, the easiest is wire transfer. Okay, so they tell you like, what are the rules. Okay, there's a range. This amount you have to pay. In Singapore, it's about $40. Okay. Okay. Now they allow you to pay in Chinese yuan, renminbi. So you have to check with the vendor and see what is the charges, invoice. Ask them to give you a pro forma invoice. Then you check in US dollar and in renminbi. Then you decide, if I use US dollar, what will be my cost? If I use renminbi, then what will be the cost? Because you use Sing dollar to buy either renminbi or Sing dollar to buy US dollar. So to you is, what is the cost in Sing dollar? Because some of the vendor, they will look at the renminbi cost and then they will convert it to US dollar. Then when you look at US dollar, it costs more than the renminbi. Some vendor will always look at the US dollar and then give you the invoice in renminbi, converted from the US dollar. So you actually pay more if you pay in renminbi. It's a bit strange, because when the price quoted, let's say 400 US dollar, then they'll quote it as 400 US dollar. You want renminbi? Okay, I take 400, I convert to renminbi is how much? Okay. And then of course somehow their conversion is a bit higher. Then you see, you actually pay more in renminbi. So like that, then you maybe you want to talk to them, or if they don't understand you or whatever reason, then you just pay in US dollar. Sometimes the renminbi is cheaper, then you just pay in renminbi. They're also happy, they don't need to convert back. Okay, in the past, you cannot pay renminbi to a business account, but right now it seems like you can, because probably there's a lot of China bank will take your currency and then convert to renminbi and remit to the China vendor. So that can be done. Last time this was a restriction. So Western Union, I'm not sure whether they still have this restriction, because Western Union have their own method of payment. They don't go through the bank. Whereas most of the bank, they have some branches, either they have branches in China or the China have a bank in Singapore or in the country or whatever. So they have this connection. Okay. So here they say Alibaba, okay, does not charge any fee. Okay, but the transaction fee is charged by the bank. Okay, but they didn't tell you, you must check with the vendor who pay what. You look at the TT form, you will know who pay what. Okay, so you pay using Western Union, it's the same thing. Okay, but you must understand there's the limit is 2,500. You buy big item, you cannot use Western Union. Or you see, so here they didn't mention renminbi, so you have to check with Western Union. Okay, online transfer, this one actually you don't need to care. You don't have, you can't do that because you don't have a China bank. Then Bolito is Brazil, some sort of Brazil payment gateway or what. Then you, unless you are in Brazil, then this doesn't apply to you. Okay. Payment fee. Okay, you can take a look. They give you a summary. Okay, this percentage you have to check with the vendor. Okay, over here they didn't put PayPal. Okay, PayPal is probably not accepted over here by Alibaba Trade Assurance. But if you contact the vendor directly, most of the time they have PayPal account, but they charge you 5%. Okay, here these are probably credit card. So this amount you have to pay. Okay, they will top up as some fee. Whereas all this wire transfer, it depends on the bank. You pay. That's all. They won't charge you. It's not in the invoice because your local bank charge you different amount. That's the vendor don't care. Okay, same wire transfer, they don't care. Online not applicable to you. Okay, online banking, all this not applicable to you. Okay, Western Union, okay, pay later, free, no need to pay, but also not applicable to you. Okay, Bolito is Brazil, also not applicable. So over here, you only have Western Union, wire transfer, and credit card. Okay, so if you want to use Alipay, then you have to talk to the vendor. So normally for vendors, somehow if you contact the vendor, chances is they are reliable. So let's say you talk about the products. Okay, you have this thing here at the corner. Let's say you see your gold. Oh, you can't see. Okay, gold supplier. Okay, then say 11 years. So okay, they have been around for 11 years, and then they are gold supplier. So there's nothing. I mean, it should be quite reliable because actually anybody can be a gold supplier. So you cannot take this as 100% guarantee that they are good because you pay, you become gold. Then you have 11 years. So if you want to con people for 11 years, very difficult. Unless they are in great problem now, so they are going bankrupt, then they quickly take orders, collect all your money, then don't deliver, and then disappear. So after 11 years, then they disappear. So not likely lah, but it can happen lah. Even some Singapore company also like that. If they have been around for 10 years, 20 years, and then suddenly close shop. Like High Flux also close shop. So if you have business with High Flux, then how you get back your money? You cannot. See, so but yours is a small amount, maybe 2,000, 5,000. Never mind lah. Don't need to be so worried unless you make 100,000. Then you better go there and look at the company directly, because you must understand that sometimes the company you're dealing with is not the factory. It's just a trading company or somebody who become a middleman. He just liars and he just turn table and then he make money. So he's not you. If he's you may want to go and visit the company. If you make, let's say, a few $100,000 business, you go there. Just one air ticket is very cheap. At least you know them, you meet them. They know that you are here. They want to do something, they also must think twice because you just take an air ticket, you know where they are hiding. So it's safer lah. But small case 10,000, I also don't go and visit them. Okay. So you can call them, chat with them, and all these things. You click then you can chit chat with them. This is call us, not call US. Okay, they're very funny. They're going to put capital US. It should be call me, then they know. Why they put call US? Okay, so you see they have how many transactions, what's the response rate. Okay, so you assess all these things. Okay, and so if you contact them, you can you have a there's a there are also some queries here. Oops, gone again. Some I click stay sign in, they still log me out. Okay, so when you are in Alibaba, they have all these messages, but I don't correspond with them, so you normally don't see any message. So when you make a query, then the message will be here. So actually, I also didn't make query. I just went in, look at the product, and then they know me already. They straight away ask me. And normally they put a pretty girl face, so they not be the correct person. So this, because what I forgot what it is, some machine. So when you start searching, then they also will sometimes send you message. But I normally don't log in, so I don't even read them. See? So like this oil extractor, hydraulic press, let's say you searching for hydraulic press, and then someone will come in and send you. These are the gold supplier. This Alibaba, they sell leads. When you make queries, they know who you are because you got to log in, and then when you do queries, they know who you are, and then they sell the leads to the gold supplier. So they get the leads. So you click, then there's a message there. Then the message will be here. They have this thing they offer me, but I didn't ask any question. They just contacted me. Okay, so orders, then all your past order is here. I don't have any orders here, but in another account I have some orders. The problem is when I use last time I one account, then they allow me to post some item for sale. So I put some item for sale, but I didn't go and edit. One day they call me, ask me to edit so that make the content better, then you will get more leads. So I went to edit. After editing, then they send me a new message, say that to edit, you need to be a paying member. I pay for it. I'm not interested. After I put that for years, I didn't edit. I also get no sales. So you want to edit, you must be a paying member. Then if you don't pay, they will disable your account. Wow. So my account get disabled. Then I open a new account. Then I got nothing, blank, no product. Didn't have anything here. But never mind. The item also no sales. So I put there for years, also no business. Because there are so many listings, nobody can search my listing. Then transaction, nothing, because I didn't buy anything. I did buy from Alibaba vendors. Okay, but not, I only bought through the trade assurance once. But the shipping charges can be higher. If you go through the trade assurance, because they went through the proper channel. So somehow the delivery is a bit more expensive. It's more expensive, but I can't remember how much. If you want cheaper delivery, you can either go to Easy Buy, ship for me, or you go to my EA Express, which Zhan Han has been using. Something like ship for me also. Those are cheaper. Okay, and if it's heavy, then you go by ship, go by sea, then it's cheaper. But when you go through trade assurance, then it is more expensive. Somehow the shipping cost is higher. So if you want to save on shipping, then you tell them to deliver to a warehouse in China. Then from the warehouse in China, then you pay that fella, they will ship to you. It is cheaper. Okay, but if you want them to ship to a warehouse of your choice, then you cannot go through Alibaba Trade Assurance. Okay, and how you go through the Alibaba Trade Assurance is when you negotiate the vendor until a correct price agreed, then they will send you a link to a trade assurance account. Then when you click the link, then you can make your payment there. So the amount to pay is correct already. So it's not like you go to Lazada or QO10 and then you add to cart and pay. No, you have to negotiate until agree the payment, the amount, the specs, everything. You must check the invoice, everything, all the specs are correct. And then they will create a link for you, and you click the link, then you can go in, make the payment, then they receive the instruction from Alibaba, they will deliver. It's very different. It's not meant for retail, home user. You want to buy from Alibaba? No. They don't sell one by one, but sometimes you can bluff them. You say, I want sample only. They give you, they sell you sample, maybe 1 kilo, 1 bag, whatever, see what they do. So they do send you sample. And sometimes Alibaba also have samples. You can query for sample and it's free. A small sample they give you free, but you pay for delivery. Maybe $20. I also don't know how much. So far I didn't get from this. So you just pay for delivery. Alibaba will send you the samples. But sometimes you want samples. You want to buy small quantity. Then you contact the vendor. You say, I need it to test. Make sure it's correct. Then I buy you 1 ton. Then they say, okay. They send you a sample. Then after no sound, no picture, you don't buy from them because you already have you make your purchase. Okay. But when you buy from the vendor in China or anywhere, don't buy anything that is powder or liquid or things that is explosive. Okay, especially powder and liquid. Some people, you want to buy liquid, let's say like super glue or powder. Powder can be like those food powder or those calcium carbonate powder where sometimes they use to put into the fish tank to neutralize to add alkalinity, all these things. So anything that's powder, whether it is poisonous powder or non-toxic or whatever, as long as it's powder or liquid, you cannot ship out. So you don't go through places like my EA Express or Easy Buy. You must, if you buy things that have powder or liquid, you must get the vendor to deliver to you. The vendor has a way to ship the thing to you. Of course, it will be more expensive. Okay, because the vendor will have to submit all these MSDS, all the requirements are export requirements, and then it will arrive at your door. Okay, don't try to arrange for your own delivery. It will never work. They can't deliver, they reject and return to the vendor. You got to pay both sides. Then after that, you got to pay for delivery again. No, don't do that. Okay, and then animal parts or food item, don't buy. All these require import license. And then the worst thing, if you buy anything that is endangered species, then you are in trouble. You cannot buy also. Okay, so and normally Alibaba don't sell this type of thing. It's only from your own source from somewhere. Okay, and there are a lot all these funny things. Don't be careful lah. If you don't know, better check. And then all these contact. These are the people who contacted me. I didn't reply and I didn't contact them. Okay, all this nothing. The rest all okay. So I will show you on AliExpress. No, Alipay. I'll show you on Alipay. Okay. Let's see if I can share screen. Okay. Okay, for the Alipay, suddenly I cannot find my Alipay.
Alipay 支付宝 right? I thought I saw it. Your icon 支付宝. No.
This one Alipay lah.
Yeah.
Oh, don't put the Chinese English word Alipay.
This is Chinese Chinese wording 支付宝.
Okay. Oh, Alipay still in Chinese. So Alipay a lot of function but so far I didn't do. So if you have a vendor, then if you arrange personally in a vendor, then you can do a transfer on the transfer. Can you see the transfer, right? Oops, all this bullshit one. Sometimes this transfer, this one. Okay. So this one is I just paid Then you say to Alipay account here. Okay. Then you enter the email. Once you enter the email address, they'll give you a name. Then you can be correct. Okay, it's the correct person. Then you can make the payment. Okay, so if you don't have a name, then cannot . So you must know who to pay. So they'll give you the Alipay account, the email address. Okay, then you can make the payment. It's the same. Once you go in, you can do the payment already. So you don't need to read a lot. Only Alipay account, that's all. So to bank card, you don't have bank card, you can't do. The rest don't care because I only use this. So you can see over here there's an email address. Once you enter the correct email address, then they give you the name. Then you see the name, okay, correct, then you pay. Normally when they give you the Alipay account, they tell you the email address and the name. Then okay. Then there's if you can also but the problem is for most people is how to top out this thing. Last time, Zhan Han was saying you can top out at this what station some AXS station but now he said the function is disabled. I tried just put $20, then I do a transfer top up, but there is a problem with this AXS station. When you top out then you cannot do transfer. You only can, if you use this one, top up center, this thing. If you go to top up center, which I'm not going to show you much because it's no longer in use already. You can only use this money to buy in Tmall. That means Taobao. So don't care don't use this. Then you can check on this me. Then you will see the balance. Oh, you have 1,400 CNY is China yen. Bank card I don't have. That's all. This only thing. Then I can look at the transaction. Then I can see what I bought and all these things. See, I ask people to transfer me. Then I get the money. Okay. So if you want people to pay you, then you click on the name on top. The first one, click on the name. Then you see. So you can see my QR code. Then they can scan this QR code. They can pay me. If you want, you can scan and then you pay me. Okay, but don't ask me to pay back. Okay, so this is something like a PayLah, similar but there are so many features, and then a lot are in Chinese. Sometimes you read until you also don't know where to go. It's so confusing, but amazingly, the Chinese people, they know how to use. For me, after so many years in computer, I also not so sure how to use. And a lot cannot use, like Uber or a lot of function is not usable. Air and real also cannot use. Then the Zima credit also don't have. You know what? Exchange also cannot. Almost everything cannot use because they are only applicable in China. So the only thing I use is transfer and then top out. That's all. Very simple. So if you deal with China people, you can use this. It is cheaper than going through the bank. You save all the bank transactions, but you have to be careful because when you pay them, you have to be careful that they are reliable. Okay, otherwise when you pay by Alipay, that's it. They don't care and you got nothing to back up. The only way you can go there and bank table. Okay, so